Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching. Welcome back to another podcast, and it's podcast number 16 of the Woodwork, and that means it is the start of our second half of our second term at university. And I have to say, recording booth 2 at City University is packed at the moment. Just introduce yourselves.
We'll start with Pablo. Pablo, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Pablo Gutierrez de Lario, Spanish, English, a lot of stuff.
And I'm your regular Kris. Hello.
And we do have another guest. Do you want to? No?
No. I'm not part of the podcast now.
Spurs has depressed her too much, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Barcelona and Liverpool as well.
Yes, we've got a lot on the agenda today. The Premier League, a couple of game weeks to talk about. The Carabao Cup final, La Liga and El Clasico, the Championship, and then with our other sports, got a bit of South Africa cricket, New Zealand cricket, Women's 2020 World Cup, and the Premier League darts as far, and our review section at the end as well. So to start, the Premier League over the last couple of weeks. Did you translate that shorthand?
Yeah, over a couple of weeks.
So Norwich, what happened to them over last two game weeks? Wolves 3, Norwich 0. That was 23rd of February, I think. That was a really poor performance, and Norwich didn't deserve anything out of that game. And to be fair, that seemed to be the nail in the coffin for some fans. But then Friday night, a booster, Norwich beating Leicester City by 1-0. And Jamal Lewis, he scored the only goal of the game, as it was Norwich's first win in 5 games, and it did improve their chances of survival slightly, although the results didn't quite favour them on the Saturday. But if they didn't win, there'd be 9 points adrift, so it's crucial that we got the 3 points against Leicester. And funnily enough, Norwich have taken, I think, a third of their points, which is 7, against teams in the top 3, win against Man City, win against Leicester, and a draw against Leicester. So, well, I don't know, I don't really understand my club that much, to be honest, but the situation's still just about above the surface for Norwich. We've still got a half chance of survival if we can play like we did against Leicester and play well in March. We've got 2 home games in a row coming up, and if we can do that, then maybe we can at least push the season into April, not get relegated too soon. But yeah, it still remains unlikely, but a bit of positivity in the Norwich camp for once this week.
There were 2 huge games for Tottenham over the past 2 weeks. We faced Chelsea away and Wolves at home. The fight for the top 4. We are at the crucial stage for the fight for the Champions League next season. Tottenham travelled to Stamford Bridge on the 22nd of February, only to concede 2 goals in the space of 48 minutes, thanks to a strike from Giroud and Marcus Alonso. We did get 1 goal back towards the end of the game, thanks to an own goal from Rudiger. The second game that we played was against Wolves at home. Also lost that one 3-2. Tottenham went ahead thanks to Steven Bergwijn on 13 minutes, only for Matt Doherty to equalise 27 minutes after playing. Sergio Aurier put Tottenham in front just before half-time, only for Spurs to concede 2 goals on 73 minutes and 57 minutes. The battle for top 4 continues with Leicester, Chelsea, United, Wolves, Tottenham and Sheffield still in contention for Champions League places next year.
Yes, a worrying run of form for you boys, losing in all competitions. I hope that can transfer to Wednesday night as well. But the big story in the Premier League over the weekend was surely Liverpool's run of unbeaten games is now over. Yes, 44 games in the Premier League. So yeah, Liverpool 3, Watford 3, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Anyone watch it? What happened?
Yeah.
You can go first.
Yeah, no, the game, Liverpool did not look like themselves. They lost in Europe against Atletico Madrid. Maybe that affected them a little bit, but they definitely did not look like themselves. Watford, on the other hand, performed really, really, really well, and their form is showing that at the moment. They're still climbing the table slowly at the moment in 17th place with 27 points, just above the relegation zone on goal difference.
Funny thing is that Troy Deeney said that Watford was targeting our best defender, Dejan Lovren. So I think probably that was one of the big things, as well as the loss in the Champions League against Atletico de Madrid, that probably made Liverpool lose. 44 games unbeaten. Who I wish we could have got to the 49s.
No Invincibles this season, though.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been so great.
Yeah, it's been coming, I think, for Liverpool, because they were quite poor against Norwich, to be fair, the other week, and we definitely should have got something there. And they've also had games, I think their fans themselves would admit it, they've perhaps not been at their best for 3 months, but the rest of the league, the quality just isn't there. So
Yeah,
I think they definitely are the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're capable of playing a lot better than they are, but it's just sometimes what happens when you play an opponents that are just sort of nowhere near your standard. You naturally lower your game, don't you? Because you don't need to work as hard, and you can get by just winning. So that was coming for Liverpool, I think, but still 44 games. I don't think anyone will ever emulate what Arsenal.
And there's still 22 points ahead as well of Man City.
It still will be nice to see if they can come to
109
Manchester
points,
City
I think.
Stadium and win against them. Those 4 last games.
Yeah, a lot of sports journalists saying, though, that it still could be City's season, one of the best seasons that City have ever had, despite being 22 points behind Liverpool. If they do, well, considering that they beat Real Madrid away 2-1 in the Champions League.
They'd take the Champions League.
Yeah, and
I just hope Liverpool wins the league before FA closes the Premier League because of coronavirus or something like that.
And yeah, maybe Norwich might not get relegated too. So fingers crossed. Other results, draw with Chelsea for Bournemouth. West Ham, the much needed win for them over Southampton. Newcastle, another 0-0 draw for them. So I don't know what's happening under Steve Bruce. It's sort of, they seem to be all right in the table, don't they, Newcastle?
Yeah.
They've got a couple of sort of plucky wins from nowhere, but they're really struggling to score goals, and I just don't.
Yeah,
their
recent form is not too great, as you've mentioned. That they're struggling to find goals. Their last 6 games, it's a 0-0 draw against Burnley, a 1-0 loss against Crystal Palace, a 4-0 loss against Arsenal, and a 0-0 draw against Norwich. Outside of the Premier League, it's not looking much better. A win, 3-2 win against Oxford United in the FA Cup. And a 0-0 draw, hence the replay. The last one game in the Premier League was against Chelsea when they beat them at home 1-0. Looking at the table, they're still in 14th place, looking confident with 5 points separating them from the relegation zone. But we'll see what happens towards the end of the season.
Yes, I mean, I could easily see one of those teams slipping into it. I think until you hit the 40-point mark, you can never really sort of consider yourself to be safe. But yeah, I think a lot of Newcastle fans just want to see some entertainment because they're just not seeing the back of the net bulge too often.
Yeah.
The Carabao Cup final, that was yesterday between Aston Villa and Manchester City, and it was a win for Manchester City, and that was their 3rd Carabao Cup in a row, and a lot of people commending Villa's performance. They showed some fight in the second half, got a goal back, but I have to say City didn't really look troubled perhaps until that corner in added time, I think it was, and they probably should have won 5 or 6-1 to be honest.
Statistics show how the game should have gone. City dominating ball possession with 70% of it, 22 goal attempts, only 4 shots on target though, which is surprising with the attacking threat that they've got. But yeah, as you mentioned, Aston Villa managed to get back into the game on 41 minutes thanks to Samatta, but did not find the equaliser towards the end of the game.
I just want to say that I like one small team like Aston Villa in this case. Gives like I'm sorry, but okay, if you compare it to Manchester City, I'm just saying I like to see these teams giving a good fight to a big team like Manchester City, because on the previous final, what happened with Watford, that was complete destruction. So I like to see that this kind of teams they're closing up now, and maybe in the future they can win a town.
Yeah, so what that meant for our fantasy teams then, 49 points for me. For Wolves' performance against Tottenham, that's actually saved my game week after I had 3 Liverpool players who all did well. Salah got 2 points, and then I think Trent and Robertson both got 1, so that didn't go well for me. But 49 points, I think it was just above the average. Doherty and Jimenez, they were the 2 players. Doherty got a goal and Jimenez got a goal as well. And Doucouré, he came off the bench and got me 6 points. So better week for me. I'm still 5th in my league though, and about 100 points off the top. So I need sort of two or three really good game weeks, but I can't really see them happening.
I've completely given up on my fantasy Premier League just before Christmas. This week wasn't much better with 20 points only, Mason Mount scoring me 2 points, and surprisingly, Jordan Ayew with 7 points and a goal for Crystal Palace against the win against Brighton.
The Championship this week, that league still all over the place at the top, unpredictable as well, and a shock defeat this week, it has to be said, for West Brom, losing at home to Wigan. Leeds, their form's picked up after that mini sort of slump over January and February. They thrashed Hull this week, and they're now sort of, I'd say, definitely in the command position in the top two. Brentford, they drew to Cardiff. Fulham, 2 wins in a row for them. I watched Fulham play Swansea last Wednesday, a little groundhog trip to Craven Cottage, and it was a really entertaining game, that one, end to end, although it only finished 1-0 to Fulham with a last minute header by Mitrovic. Certainly could have been a few goals at both ends, but a big win for Fulham against Preston on Saturday.
Yeah, the table is still looking quite tight. However, the two top teams now separating from the other ones, with West Brom on 69 points in first, and Leeds 1 point behind Fulham, as we mentioned, in third with 63 points. Then the rest of the playoff places look as follows: Nottingham Forest in fourth with 59 points, Brentford in fifth with 57, and Preston in sixth with 56 points. Between 11th place and 6th place, we've only got 5 points. So again, it's all to play for in the Champions League as usual.
Championship. We'll get
Championship.
to
That's
Championship. Okay, on to our La Liga section for this weekend. A win for... You're not happy about this one, are you, Pablo?
No, I'm not happy. We're going to talk about Clasico, how Real Madrid won their first League Clasico in 8 attempts since 2016.
It's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought Santiago Bernabeu was pretty much our second home and that we were going to win this one. But Messi wasn't accurate, neither Antoine Griezmann. Barcelona in the end just finished with 4 shots on target. And then obviously Vinicius Jr., what a great match. Youngest player to score in a Clasico. And then Mariano Diaz coming in the last minutes to stroke the second goal to beat Barcelona 2-0 and go top of La Liga. And right now, 56 points for Real Madrid, 55 points for Barcelona in second place. Obviously, I'm a Barcelona fan, but do you guys think that Barcelona is going to win any trophies this season?
Looking at La Liga at the moment, with the games, there's 12 games left in La Liga, and looking at the matches that Madrid will be playing, I don't see them losing many of them. So Barcelona realistically would have to win every single game until the end of the season to win La Liga. Looking at the Champions League, they did play Napoli, and it ended in a 1-1 draw in Naples. It's a very awkward tie, very difficult to predict. Barcelona having the second leg at home, so I fancy them going through to the quarterfinals, but we'll see how far they will. They'll
they
progress.
get before City, then I think we're back our English teams to do the business.
I mean, obviously, as a Barcelona fan, I would love them to win the Champions League and La Liga, but if they don't win anything,
I think this.
I mean, they won't deserve it, and I mean, if it's basically not winning any title to just get better.
I think this season there are teams that Barcelona has absolutely no chances against.
Yeah.
So if they, as Sam said, it's going to all come down to the draw, and see who they'll face on the road to the final.
Speaking of the Champions League, we had 2 weeks of, I think it was 4 matches each week, and as for our English teams, Atletico won at Liverpool 0. Home defeat for Tottenham to Leipzig. Did you go to that one, Chris?
Yeah, we did. I did go to that one.
Could have been more, couldn't it?
Could have been more. Leipzig, again, inspired by some fans saying incredible Timo Werner. So we'll see what happens. A lot of money being pumped into that team, but exciting. Well, the second leg will obviously decide. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a 1-goal deficit, unlike Chelsea, who they were scored at by Bayern Munich, 3-0 to the German side. Napoli won, Barcelona won, Atalanta 4, Valencia 1, Lyon 1, Juventus 0, and Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 2. That was surely the upset of the round.
I think they go inspired because of the ban.
Yeah, Madrid looked quite comfortable until City scored the equaliser in 70th minute, and then it was just...
And then they just dropped.
It was just an attacking threat for City up front. They just kept pushing and eventually scored. But again, all to play for in the second leg.
Yes, so return to football towards the end of the podcast, and just a short section coming up on what cricket we've seen. No England cricket to talk about, or no England men's cricket to talk about. A bit of South Africa and Australia, the 2020s and one-day internationals. Lots of limited overs cricket now being played. Got the Pakistan Super League, got the IPL coming up, and then of course the English cricket summer. I had a cricket net yesterday, so it's only about a month and a bit until warm-up games begin, and I have to say it needs to warm it up outside. South Africa against Australia in the last few weeks in the limited overs matches, 1-1 in the 2020 series, and it's currently 1-1 in the ODI series. The third match starts on Wednesday. India and New Zealand contesting the second test at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. There was a win for New Zealand, and India, although they led by 7 runs in the first innings, they were bundled out, I think, for just over 130 in the second one, and the Kiwis had a small target to chase and sealed a second consecutive win. In New Zealand, they're a remarkable team on home soil. I think they've only lost about 3 tests in 5 years at home, just showing how much dominance they've got on their soil. The Women's 2020 World Cup, England women, they are safely into the semi-finals of that competition taking place in Australia, although they lost to South Africa in their first game by 6 wickets. Heather Knight's side have beaten Thailand, Pakistan and the West Indies to book a potential tie with India, South Africa or Australia. The Premier League darts this week, just a brief section on that. I didn't manage to watch it, but there was a 9-dart finish from Michael Smith. Ironically though, the cameraman actually was a couple of seconds too late, and there was actually a bit of a delay between the dart going in double 12 and the crowd reacting, but still great to watch. As for the results, Gowan Price thrashing Peter Wright by 7 legs to 1. Smith himself beat Darryl Gurney 7-5. That was the first 9-darter since 2017. In other results, Gary Anderson beat Rob Cross 7-5. Nathan Aspinall continues his great start to the year, 7-5 win for him over Glenn Durrant. And Michael Van Goen beat the challenger William O'Connor 7-4. More darts to come this weekend. We've got the UK Open. That's going to be taking place in Minehead at the Butlins Resort, and that's going to be getting underway on Friday. So definitely be a section of that in future podcasts. As for the matches we've got this week, we've got some FA Cup 5th round action starting tonight. It's at Arsenal and Portsmouth tonight.
Arsenal and Portsmouth tonight.
And then tomorrow we've got an assignment, haven't we?
We do have an assignment. We have a match report to write about Chelsea v Liverpool in the FA Cup.
And I hope Liverpool wins.
Well,
so I can make a good match report.
I'm just hoping it's going to be like 2-0 or 3-0 or something where there's no drama. And
not a draw and nothing.
Let's hope there's no drama, no
extra time.
No or something like that.
Well, I think last year on the sports journalism module they got a 0-0 or something, didn't they? So,
yeah.
I don't know, that's kind of easy-ish to write, isn't it? Like, you don't have to worry about making mistakes about who scored goals, but it is a 0-0, so you've got to sort of find
especially
a line,
if there's
find something.
Lots of goals, you just right.
Yes, and more FA Cup action. Tottenham against Norwich, that's on Wednesday. Chris very kindly got me a ticket to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I'll be sitting in the home end, although I think you said near the away fans.
Near the away fans.
Yeah, the Norwich end sold out. I think we're taking 9,000 to the capital, but I'm in the home end, so I'll have to make sure I wear a jumper over my Norwich shirt. No, I won't. I'm not that brave. In the Premier League coming up this weekend, Norwich, we are away to Sheffield United. A tough game. Not a tough game on paper. So if you'd have told me we'd be playing Sheffield United away at the start of the season and they'd be I think 6th, is it, and we'd be 20th.
You wouldn't believe it.
I would not believe it at all. So, but we're picking up points against the so-called better teams in the table according to their position. So if we can get a draw, I think I'd be happy with that, or even a win. Now it's just going to be about picking up points on the road and winning our home games, and we've got to be picking up points every week and not allowing teams to gain any more ground on us. But I'm in the cycle as a Norwich fan. Like, one week we lose, I'm just like, yeah, season's over, roll on the summer, and then we win, and then I'm like, oh, it might happen, but...
But no, still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Tottenham will travel to Turf Moor to face Burnley.
Ooh, awkward.
Very tough game, and considering that Burnley are still fighting to stay in the Premier League, and Tottenham fighting for the top four, it'll be a crucial encounter, with Tottenham being 5 points behind Chelsea.
Okay, our Six Nations rugby. We actually didn't talk much about that, did we? England, the last round of matches. France, they're looking like the team at the moment, aren't they? Though England claimed a crucial win over Ireland. And this Saturday, a massive game for England at Twickenham. It's Wales, 4:45. That one starting. Scotland against France on Sunday at 3 o'clock. So we need a Scotland win there, really. And Ireland against Italy. That match was postponed due to the coronavirus. So I'm not sure how and when they're going to replay that one. We'll speak more about that nearer the time. We've got the Women's World T20 World Cup. Those semi-finals are taking place, and then we've got the final on International Women's Day. And finally, the Premier League darts and the UK Open. So we've got Night 5 coming live from Exeter on Thursday, and then of course the UK Open taking place in the Butlins Resort in Minehead, with the action getting underway on Friday and running through to Sunday. So a busy schedule for sport. There's tons of cricket coming up. I'm very excited for the season, I have to say. And then football as well. Got the FA Cup this week, and then I think Champions League the week after.
The week after, yeah.
And then loads of sport for us to consume at the moment while we deal with all of our assignments and shorthand as well. How did you find the test today, Kris?
Not too far off, getting better, fluctuating somewhat, but next time onwards and upwards.
Yes, kind of a bit.
Always stays positive, guys.
Yeah, we're on 90, and I only missed 3 sentences. So
Yeah.
But enjoyed this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it too. And if you want to leave some feedback, feel free to leave a comment on the video or reply to our social media. All those links can be found in the description. And yes, we will catch you next week.
Thank you for listening.